This video is going to be pretty quick and simple. How to sell to anyone. Now, this is coming from obviously me who hasn't been actively selling for a crazy amount of time. I've only been active in sales for about 3 to 4 years. I've been active in marketing for about a decade now. Although actively selling services, cold outreach, running meetings, closing deals, probably active for about 4 years. When I started off in sales, I was absolutely terrible. I was confident, but terrible. 4 years past that, I was running at a 100% close rate for 6 months running, closing absolutely anyone who was closable, selling to absolutely everyone. Every single second call that I'd make, no matter if it was cold, warm, hot, steaming, it was a genuine conversation because I was actually able to relate to people and have great conversations. But it didn't all start this way, of course. 4 years ago, I remember my first cold call. I think if my first cold call or sales call ever got out in public, I'd fly to Germany and change my name. So it didn't all start sunshine, rainbows, 100% close rates, great show rates, and really knowing my numbers. It started more in the trenches where everyone starts. Although one thing that I have been able to learn over the past 4 years of consistent sales work and consistent improvement would be how to sell to anyone, females, males, big business owners, small business owners, people, consumers. But there's many different ways to sell to anyone. You just need to work out what that formula and what that straight line looks like for you. Right. And there's going to be bumps in your straight line as well. So when you are learning to sell, there's going to be bumps and main bumps that you can iron out that are only specific to you. And this is what a lot of coaches or sales coaches don't actually talk about. They talk about the main kind of problems. So maybe you're nervous to pick up the phone. Maybe you're nervous to objection handle correctly because you don't want to come across as pushy. So they're handling the main kind of problems that salespeople deal with, but they're not addressing how to deal with problems that haven't been mentioned. Right. So when I first got into sales, for example, I was in real estate sales. So I was actually doing door knocking and speaking to people, trying to get them fucking sell their house when they didn't want to sell their house. Right. Or speaking to people that do want to sell their house, which was great. So I had one problem. One problem. I was super confident at the doors. I had my script down pat, but I had one problem that threw my sales ability off so much. And that was I was not able to speak to women at all. I always had this problem. I get in my own head about speaking to women, feeling judged by women. I don't know what it was deep rooted in my brain, but for the first, 17 years of my life, I was not able to speak to women at all. This affected my sales ability so much, which was absolutely crazy because if I knocked on a door and a woman opened the door, this is when I'd start stuttering, overthinking, going through exactly what I should say, overanalyzing, stressing out, sweating, using all my nervous energy. It was absolutely horrible. Other people might have their kind of main problems that is only relevant to them. Some people might not be able to speak to certain ethnicities without feeling nervous, or certain age demographics without feeling nervous, or it might be some days of the week that they're feeling like shit. But right now, all sales is, and all marketing is, and all being successful actually is finding out what's causing you the most damage and starting fixing that. In my case, speaking to women, especially in real estate, was causing me the most damage at that time. Why? Because 90% of the people throughout 9 to 5 hours that were opening the door were female. Stay at home moms, housewives, all that kind of shit. Right. And even when I did speak to males, work from homers or stay at home dads, I was still up on edge because I'm like, oh, fuck, what if a female opens the door? Because I was such a pussy. Right. Which is absolutely fucking hilarious to think about now. Anywho, I had a really good sales trainer at this time. His name was Aaron. He guided me in a way that really helped me build my sales ability to where it is today. And that was right now, your biggest error. And everything that I'm hearing is when a chick opens the door, when a woman opens the door, blah, blah, blah. I just needed to face that problem and iron out that problem and start with the biggest problem that's affecting me the most. And then I can deal with the next biggest problem. So what my sales manager actually made me do, which was absolutely insane because I came from a cross T's dot I's kind of cabinet making role where I'm just picking up a piece of wood and edging it. I didn't know there was this much fluidity in a role. Was he made me go to the local shopping center and approach 3 women and tell them that they're pretty. So doing the most morally degrading thing that a man can do, because obviously you're approaching 3 different women, you're super nervous, you're shy. It's incredibly nerve-wracking. I went to the shopping center, and for about 30 minutes, I was obviously pacing around, and I'm going to do it, and then I didn't do it, and I'm going to speak to this chick, and then I didn't speak to this chick, and all this kind of stuff. To cut a long story short, practically, I ended up walking to my first prospect in a sense, and I said, "Hey, I think that you're really pretty." She looked me up and down, didn't say anything, and walked off. And that right there changed my life. Because realistically, there was probably a worse case outcome. I could have been told, ill, fuck off, or something like that. But it was pretty bad. I got looked up and down, and then she walked off. And in that moment, I remember standing in that shopping center smiling, thinking, holy fuck, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. Worst case scenario, or this outcome that I've been holding myself against for so fucking long, it's not that bad. On the way back, I was like, this is the best feeling ever. I went through a drive-through, got a coffee. I was more confident. I was me. I was him. I was getting coffee. Thanks, darling. You look very nice today. Blah, 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 blah. I was a bit of a wanker. But anyway, moving forth, I ironed out that main kink, right? So what sales is about understanding that there's things that affect you more than it affects the person next to you. It could be because of your accent, your tone, your energy, if you've got a lisp, if you sound a bit younger. There's problems that only affect you, and what you need to be able to do in sales, in marketing, in life is identify, okay, what's affecting me? Ask yourself the question, how will I fix this problem? What is the worst possible outcome of this problem? What is the worst thing that could happen because of this problem? Face it, realize it's not that bad, and move on to the fucking next problem. Speaking of women, getting told to fuck off by women, it's really not that bad. Speaking of dudes, getting told to fuck off by dudes, it's really not that bad. Getting confronted by dudes, it's not that bad. Once you realize that worst case scenario really ain't that fucking bad, nothing can stop you. Once all your main kind of problems in terms of your mental are fixed, this is single-handedly the best thing that you can do to improve your sales results, period. Volume. And this is where I'm noticing most salespeople are leaving on the table. Because although it sounds so obvious, most salespeople are leaving this on the table. You don't understand how big volume actually is. I'm not talking how fucking loud you are. I'm talking how many people are you speaking to on a daily basis? And this does not just fix how many opportunities or doors are in front of you. This fixes how quickly you're learning, how quickly you're progressing, how quickly you're able to be so accountable, how quickly you're able to look at what are all my problems? What am I doing well? What am I doing bad? Obviously, there's more doors in front of you. And if there's more doors in front of you, there's more places to go, period. But you're also progressing at a faster rate than your peers. You're progressing at a faster rate day to day. More opportunities mean more opportunities to fail. More opportunities to fail mean opportunities to learn. More opportunities to learn, more opportunities to progress. Volume is so important. And this is where I noticed that salespeople are leaving 80% of their commission check on the fucking table. 80% of their pay, 80% of their fucking livelihood is laying on the table because their volume is off. They'll run a meeting. Instead of getting straight back into it, they'll have a debrief, go on their phone, go for a smoke, go for a walk, have a coffee, have a break, all this kind of shit. Me, when I was in the trenches, when I was making sales, when I was just making calls every single day, 100, 200, 300 fucking calls a day, running meetings back to back to back to back to back, running 10-hour days, just sales, 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 sales. I'd probably have 15-minute break throughout the whole fucking day. But the whole day was 100% locked in. I see all these salespeople, they come up with these kind of fucking, oh, no, I need to go in 15-minute bursts and then 15-minute breaks. And then I need to keep my dopamine level. Shut up, bro. Just fucking dial. Just make fucking dials. Just make calls. They speak to more people. Look at absolutely every single fucking thing that you're doing. And if it's not moving the boat in the direction towards the land, then what the fuck are you doing? Optimize your time is probably the most important thing that you can do to improve your sales. Just optimize your time. And if you are one of these guys that need a time block from fucking 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock, I'm doing nothing but calling and I'm turning everything else off and I'm calling and you've got a discipline incentive in place or whatever the fuck it is, then you make sure that 9 to 12 is 100% moving the boat in the right direction, speaking to more people, keeping your why in check. Your why is not, I'm going to make 100 calls this morning and make a sale. Your why should be, I'm going to make 100 calls this morning and no matter what the fuck happens, I'm going to learn, progress, and be in a better position by the end of this 100 calls. then you've set yourself up for something you cannot fucking lose with. Because no matter what happens, you can make $1 million by lunchtime. You can make $10 million by lunchtime. You could close a fucking $100 billion deal. It doesn't fucking matter. You could lose $100 million. You can get told to fuck off 100 times in a row. But by the time you reach that 100th call, you will be 100 times better off, 100 calls better off, 100 role plays or actual real life situations better off. This is one thing a lot of people don't talk about. Volume's just one side of it. Being active is so important. Now, what I mean by that, you can have like autonomous volume. So I see a lot of salespeople, they'll clock in and they'll be 100% autonomous. They'll say the same thing the same way over and over and over and over again. And they're not actually activating the prefrontal cortex. They're not actually using their fucking brain. They're just using the autonomous side of their brain. So they're saying the same thing, they're handling the same objections the same way, the same time, and they're just running off scripts. But if you really want to win as a salesperson, you need to run off scripts, asking the right questions to the right people at the right time. There is never going to be a script for that. There is never going to be an AI that can overtake the ability to understand the human conscience like a human, right? So by saying the same fucking thing over and over again in a monotone way, not asking new questions or having new dialogue with new people, 100 times between the hours of 9 to 12 in the morning, saying the same thing, running autonomously, scrolling in the background, making calls, not actually activating the fucking brain, just using what's already there. What are we doing? Are we progressing or are we just replaying, right? So there's also a difference between active volume and passive volume, because you can actively make 100 calls. And every single call, giving it your best, you're 100% accountable. What did I do well on this call? What did I do bad on this call? How did the prospect act? What kind of person was the prospect? Why did they act like that? Did I mirror them correctly? Did I ask the right questions? Is there something I could have asked? Is there something I could have said? Is there a pattern interrupt I could have said? Is there something that I could have said that would have made the prospect laugh, or curious, or angry, or happy? Now you've made one call and you've gathered 100 fucking data points. There's active volume and there's passive volume. Passive volume is making 100 calls. You hear the same thing. You feel, I'm interested, this person's not interested, this person's not interesting, I can get nothing out of this. Then you go, okay, well, the day's done. You get to the end of that, there's 0 new data points. You may have had a talk with one overly qualified prospect that any of your competitors could have booked in anyway because they were a pushover. You have not actively improved your skills at all. And the 3 hours that you've just put in, yeah, they've moved the needle, but they haven't moved the needle near as much as it could have. So active volume is something that a lot of people don't actually talk about. They'll just get to a point where they'll go, okay, cool, here's my numbers. I make 100 calls, I book 5, 2 don't show, 1 reschedules, 2 shows, 1 sell. I can do that once a day. I'll hit commissions. I'll make X amount. I'm happy. Because you've already set a roof and you've gone, okay, well, that's in my realm of possibility. That keeps me happy. That keeps me fed. What people like that are telling me is my why is not big enough for my ceiling to be higher, right? So if you want more, you need to turn that into a need more by changing your why, right? And then you'll be able to go, okay, sweet. Right now, 2 are no showing, 1's rescheduling, 2 is showing, 1 is selling. But now if your why is I want to get a farm, or I want to donate $2 million over the next 10 years to animal research, and that why is so compelling it gets you out of bed without an alarm, now your need will become, well, those 2 no showing, 1 rescheduling, 2 showing, 1 selling, I need an extra sale out of this. So your active volume will become necessary. Gathering data points, being self-accountable, being super accountable, 100% accountable, and your 9 to 12 will become so much more powerful. One thought that always catches me off guard is I find it so funny. There is not one person in this world that you couldn't call right now with a particular arrangement of words and usage of tonality. There is not one person in this world right now you could not call and get money off them. Isn't that crazy to think about? All your job is as a salesperson is to find that arrangement of words. So when somebody tells me I'm the best salesperson, no, you're not. It's impossible. There's always more to sell. There's always more correct questions to ask. And the number one unproven way to obviously increase that is reps. Speaking to more people, but active reps, like we were speaking about earlier. Active reps. Really feeling the fucking push on every single call that you're making or every single bit of output that you're making. Being 100% accountable.